Welcome to Eclectic Mysteries. Today we are going to be diving into the mysteries that we were left by Rudolf Steiner and Robert Gilbert in regards to fully developing the heart chakra. Now, according to esoteric seers and writers of the past, and it also makes sense if you think about it as well, the heart chakra is underdeveloped in humanity. It says the 12-petaled lotus, all the petals need to be awakened, and there's 6 that we already have awakened through the physical and genealogical evolution of humanity. So souls that have incarnated in the past 1,000-2,000 years have 6 of the petals already fully functioning. In present day humanity, our heart chakra is basically under attack. They're trying to make it so that we're not able to fully develop the 12-petal lotus of the heart. The 6 petals that we need to awaken relate to the inner faculties of inner hearing, also known as clairaudience, inner clairvoyance, to be able to see clearly, and bodhicitta, or compassion, to be able to feel compassion. And we have various petals developed along the path of life, and based on your personal circumstances of being will determine how many petals you may already have awakened. Maybe you already have access to clear sentience to be able to feel, or clairaudience to be able to hear the inner plane. So they would call it the music of the spheres, the music of the universe. Or you are able to pick up on certain aspects of information from just being in the presence of someone or an object or a place, and you're able to pick up on things that other people can't, or you're able to experience extreme compassion and empathy. But we were left some very handy esoteric exercises by Rudolf Steiner, and also highly purported by Robert Gilbert, who has passed away, rest in peace. So we're just going to be going into some of the 6 basic practices that you can practice to be able to cultivate your heart chakra and develop the 12-petal lotus. And the purpose of doing that is to be able to create a personal point of consciousness within. See, when we come into the physical realm, we are in an incubation period. And in this incubation period, our soul is being formed from the gaseous alchemical process within being the monad coming into the physical body. The monad wants to develop. It wants to express itself through the physical body. But we have to allow the physical body to nourish and create and develop the proper inner hardware and software to be able to transmit the organic consciousness, which is who we are, and develop individuality. And when we learn the keys of individuality here in incarnation, to understand our higher individuality and its relation to the supreme individuality. So the purpose of that is forming a personal point of consciousness, which is a perfect center point of awareness within yourself that cannot be swayed. It cannot be swayed by hurricane, by tsunamis, by fire, by earth, water, air, fire. You cultivate the inner center, your inner fulcrum, your inner column, the staff of the magician, the rod of Aaron, the Jacob's ladder, or the holy scepter, right? This is your personal center that you develop by the trials of life, of just being here. And hopefully while you're here in this physical world, you learn lessons and you're able to cultivate a natural sense of intuition, because that's one of the petals that you develop, is intuition. clairvoyance, clairsentience, to be able to feel, to be able to see clearly, to be able to access the Akashic records on the inner plane and see what exactly are the activities of the Denzians of the astral realms, or what exactly is going on in the more heavenly spheres. What are the people that have already done this process? What are they up to now? What happens once you created and developed your 12 petals before, embarking on the spiritual journey after this world? So the first exercise is the control of thought, and this is taught in a lot of the Eastern and Western esoteric schools, as well as the ancient Christian mystics as well. Basically, developing the center, you have to utilize your consciousness to be able to concentrate on one particular thought at a time. And that usually occurs through a process of allowing yourself to just see your thoughts pass by like clouds, and to just observe them and let them go, observe them and let them go. Once you cultivate that, you can now pick one thought or ideal or an object. If you need to take a pencil or a candle to stare at it to fix your consciousness for up to 10 minutes. And if you're able to do this practice, you're already 50% ahead or more of the average person who is not developing concentration. Now, if you have a trade, or you are a musician or an artist, or you're a parent, there's various things in the gymnasium of life that already help you develop your latent abilities. Esoteric training is just to add fuel to that fire and increase your ability to be a leader and a someone to help others, and someone to cultivate compassion, and hopefully, if you are taking the time to study esoteric science, to develop that selfless giving, to be someone without want. So the reason why we are in want, and we're always in need or hankering or desire or trapped in the rat race, is because of our 6 petals on our heart chakra are not cultivated. We can see this when we lash out in rage, or we feel jealous, or we still have unfulfilled desires that are related more to the carnal faucets of life. This is all an indication that the heart chakra is not fully developed, right? If you still cling to wealth, if you still cling to fame, to recognition, if you still cling to these things, now it's not a problem to have fame or wealth or influence, but it is a problem when you cling to it. As the Tao Te Ching says, the sage does his work and steps away, right? You don't cling to the work you did yesterday or today. You just do it for the greater good, for the greater dharma, which is also described in the East as bhakti, karma yoga, right? Doing things without expecting the fruit for your labor, because you have faith and understand that if you're in alignment with your inner self and in alignment with God and the Creator, then you're going to be manifesting wonderful things. So the first exercise is control of thought, and to be able to just hone in on one object. Try to do it for 10 minutes and do this exercise 10 times. And try not to do it 10 times in one day. Try to do it at least 10 times within a few weeks. And try to set the timer for 10 minutes, and then after a few times, 15 minutes. And what you're going to realize is the more you concentrate on an object or one thought, you'll understand and be able to differentiate the thoughts of your mind that you generate versus thoughts that other people are generating in your mind, as well as thoughts from higher realms and higher astral inner plane dimensions that are communicating, because you're taking your focus on one thing. And when you're focusing on only one thing, you're able to see what comes in from the boundaries. But the whole point of the exercise is to be able to go the full amount of time in full cultivation of this concentration. Now, the second exercise is the control of will. And this builds strength and initiative. And the task is to choose one task every day at the same time every day that you do. It could be that you snap your finger, you could stomp your foot, you could flip your hourglass, whatever you want to do. But at the same time, every single day you're going to be doing that. And that's actually going to help you wake up in the astral plane, because it's going to help you wake up in the physical plane, because you're going to be able to stop what you're doing and know that at this time, at 12:10, I'm going to knock on my table, right? So that initiates a process of self-awareness, and watch exactly how hard that could be. Because when you end up in the rut of the gunas throughout your day, you'll notice that, oh, dang, you forgot. If you cultivate this practice every day, you'll increase your willpower and your ability to basically break routine and start actually creating new modes of action. The third exercise is transmuting emotions and remaining balanced, the mysteries of Libra. To remain balanced and create an equilibrium of emotion, of emotional well-being. So what that basically means is, if you feel rage, you have to temper it with its opposite, understanding. You have to take a step back and observe your emotions, and instead of acting on them, try to observe them. And after a while, when you end up doing that action again, you'll notice that you'll be able to catch it before you do it. So let's say you get overly irritated, or you're impatient, or you struggle with some type of addiction, or some type of caught in mental speculation of some sort. You can balance that emotional or mental response with its opposite by just diving into the opposite of that. So essentially, let's say you feel angry and you want to lash out on someone verbally. What you could do instead is not do that, and actually change and centerfold yourself, and actually choose to not do that and allow it to just subside, and understand that that was just a passing cloud of emotion, just like you practiced in the first exercise with the thoughts. Just observe and let them go, feel the emotion, but cultivate awareness and let it slip out, and then just simply transmute it by replacing it with its opposite counterpart. And we will go over correspondences in the next lecture when we dive into more of Franz Bard and Initiation of Hermetics, where we start understanding how to temper our will and how to transmute negative emotions into their positive state to create equanimity. So just remain calm throughout the day, joyful, regardless of pleasure or pain, to not be averted to either, and observe your feelings without judging them, to create a steady, composed sense of being. Now, what was this, number 4? Let's see. Control the thought. Concentration. So we've gone over controlling the thought, only choosing one thought, observing one item for 10 minutes. Then we went into the building of the will, of choosing one task or action throughout the day at the same time and repeating it. And then the third one, creating equanimity, emotional balance. And then the fourth one is to remain positive. Now, this has been kind of actually in the New Age movement quite a bit, but there's nothing New Age about this esoteric technique. The basic knowledge of it is you have to cultivate an inner sun, and that inner sun shines even when things get rough. So basically what it means is, even when life hits you with the negatives, to always see the positive in it, and to always see things as a lesson, and to just cultivate an inner stoic steadfast that allows you to triumph on the path without wavering off just because you were inflicted by a pain. Because in this physical realm, there are the 5, as the Upanishads say, there are the 5 inflictions that we have to go through. We have to actually go through the pain of sickness and death and all of these things that we have to go through in the physical realm. One thing we could do is to remain positive about it, and to remain positive with the people that we've met who may not be here anymore, and to cherish the time with our loved ones, and to know that even when we are going through challenges, it's actually the universe trying to shape and mold us to cultivate an inner power, which is in direct alignment with our eternal perennial mission or our purpose, right? So everything that we go through is actually set up by the eternal celestial zodiacal system for our specific needs in our soul development. So always create an atmosphere of positivity, positive music, beautiful art. Listen to beautiful teachings, uplifting teachings. Don't try to go into lower states of consciousness, because we're constantly they're trying to drag us down into our lower astral frequencies, and to focus on fear and scarcity and comparisons, when we should be focused on our inner center point and fulfilling our particular mission of the day. Every day has a new feeling, every day a new sensation, every day is a new experience. And we have to be ready to take on every day's mission that we are given to by the inner silent voice within. So avoid dwelling on negative thoughts and emotions. Develop trust and optimism, open-mindedness. Now, this exercise is one of the most important. It's open-mindedness. And the reason why this is important is because if you're not open-minded, if your cup's always full, then no one can ever pour any wisdom into that cup. You need to allow your cup to be half full so that you can acquire more knowledge, more experiences, and develop more talents and understanding. You have to understand all people's perspectives to put them on a shelf and to disqualify or to compare. But and you cannot do that accurately until you're open-minded enough to accept all of these various statements, and then to use discrimination. Right? There's a step. You can't just use discrimination. You have to actually you have to open your mind and hear and listen to what people are telling you, to what the information is out there, to other people who may have had more experience than you in certain aspects of life. If you don't empty your cup to acquire some of the knowledge, and are not open-minded to other topics, you might always be enslaved to a paradigm that's not accurate. So always remain receptive to new ideas, avoid prejudice, and this will build flexibility and humility, and establish inner harmony. And the final exercise is to balance the thought, feeling, and action, and basically combine all of these exercises together, and this will develop those 6 petals. So the 6 petals that we already have are inherited from our ancestrals, genealogical, physical, and astral and etherical evolution. And then the 6 petals we're here to cultivate are here for us to develop through experience, right? To develop our moral wisdom. And they open the spiritual organ of the heart, which is the moral intuition, or the bodhicitta, or the compassion. And this is when Jesus is always pointing to his heart. This is when the Lamb of God is, Aries, the mind, is at rest with the lion, the heart. When the thoughts and the feelings are in mutual agreement, and then the body takes action in agreement with that, then you are experiencing alignment. I hope you enjoyed this. Please take a look at innermysteries.org. I just updated the Divine Mysteries of Existence. Has been edited and revised. Feel free to book a consultation on innermysteries.org as well. And thanks for being here.